As a geographer, I would like to share with you my favorite hikes over the past year. Not that many campuses have a arboretum, and the UW-Madison one is spectacular. As you can see, I hiked here in the winter, February, but it was absolutely magnificent. There's wetlands, there's prairies, there's lots more. Occoneechee Mountain, North Carolina hike was particularly memorable. I hiked there in the spring, right before the vernal equinox, so not many trees were leafed out, but it was absolutely magnificent. And an urban hike that I really enjoyed was the Bethlehem Steel Mill, preserved in Lehigh, Pennsylvania. There's a nice walkway around the base of it, and part of it's elevated, so you really get into, as you can see, the close-ups of these magnificent structures from the early and mid-20th century. Bethlehem Steel Mill, Lehigh, Pennsylvania. The Elbphilharmonie, a combination of old and new, is absolutely magnificent to go inside, but also you can tour the base and the views and the architecture. Urban geography at its finest, the Elbphilharmonie, Hamburg, Germany. One of my favorite hikes this year was in western Wisconsin in the late spring. As you'll see here, I had a wonderful time literally out in the field with the hay bales, the woodlands. This was the driftless area where the last glaciation did not touch, so it's quite rolling and dissected. Absolutely magnificent landscape there in western Wisconsin, west central Wisconsin. An urban hike that I really enjoyed was my pilgrimage to where GIS was born. This was at Geomatics Canada in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. It's where Roger Tomlinson started Land Information Canada, the world's first geographic information system. So that was sort of like geo-holy ground for me. Geomatics Canada in Ottawa. What's not to love about that? I had the opportunity to teach in Gettysburg, so of course I got out there on the landscape, and it is an absolutely magnificent place. The rural view sheds are quite preserved, so you don't see a lot of big box stores and condos. You see the landscape as it pretty much looked in 1863. Very somber place, but an important one to get out there and explore, for sure. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. I had, at a GIS conference in Arizona, the opportunity to get out there on the landscape right when the sun was setting and the moon rose, the full moon rose, at Prescott, Arizona. That was absolutely spectacular. As you can see, look at these landforms here. Look at these rock outcrops and this reservoir here in Prescott. Great hiking, and I must say that was one of my favorites for the entire year. There's the moon rising. Cinque Terre, Italy. It is absolutely wonderful, and I highly recommend visiting there. Here are a few scenes along the Cinque Terre Trail in Italia, and you can see you're right on the cliff edge. You're in the vineyards, you're in the stones, you're in the wonderful, beautiful towns. Absolutely magnificent. Molto bene. I know each of these vignettes was supposed to be short, but I just couldn't resist by including a little bit more of the Cinque Terre Trail. I'm going to turn around here in a moment and you'll see the magnificent landscape behind me. Going straight up the mountain, but absolutely worth it for the views. I also had a historical geographical hike along the Erie Canal, and I even sang the song there, as you'll see me do here in a moment, in Rochester, New York, right after my visit to Monroe Community College. Had a grand and glorious time there on the Erie Canal. History, geography, architecture, engineering. I also had a visit to a college in Fort Worth, Tarrant County College, and had some very nice urban hikes there in Fort Worth. I was amazed at how walkable it truly is. The architecture, the river walks, the campus walks. Here's the water garden. Absolutely great place, Fort Worth, Texas. Some great people there in Fort Worth for sure. Couldn't resist that geeky self-portrait there. Great bridges as well, confluence of the rivers. And at the AGU Science Conference, I had the opportunity to get out to the Golden Gate Bridge, which never disappoints. It's always windy and cold, but absolutely fantastic. History, physical geography, architecture, engineering. The Golden Gate Bridge, San Francisco, I highly recommend that. I'm going to close that off there, and I would love to hear from you in terms of what your favorite hikes have been recently. Thanks. Get out there and explore.